If not, I'm going to go on to the very last section. So now we're going to leave the sandbox environment altogether, and we're going to go to our public-facing data maps. So some of you might have seen these maps before. I'm assuming a lot of you actually have. These are accessible if you just go to VectorSurv R or vectorsurv.org. At the top of the page, there's a link to our maps, and it'll bring you to the arbovirus map, which is the baseline map. So yeah, these are the data maps that we make available to the public. Um, we do have some data privacy things built in here. Like none of the points on the map that you see are actually the exact coordinates. They're always jittered by a certain point, so we're not giving out the exact trap location. I used to work as an entomologist in Hawaii, and we would have people like steal the batteries and steal the fans and stuff off of our traps. So we never want to give out like what's the exact location where you have this piece of property out in the environment. Okay, so these are the maps. One thing that your agency might want to do during the off season is try to embed these maps into your agency's website. So I'm going to go to the website for the Sutter Yuba Mosquito and Vector Control District. Many of your agencies probably have a website, something similar to this, where you have some information about your agency, some public educational materials, what kind of services do you provide. Sutter Yuba actually has a page for the detections of West Nile virus and other vector-borne diseases within their jurisdiction. So this is within their website, but I'm assuming that this map now looks somewhat familiar to you. Um, so this is the VectorSurv map that they have embedded into their own website. They have it the size filtered down so it fits nicely within their web layout. They have the map set to show, specifically focus in on where their agency is located in Yuba City. They have the data filtered here to show what pathogens do they want selected on their map. And then if you click on a specific location and scroll down a little bit, it's going to have the bar graph here showing the arboviral detections for the town that you had clicked into. Okay, so if you're interested in doing this on your own website, I'm going to just point you to a couple of tools to help you do that. In the top right corner of this map page, we have a button called Share. So share lets you do a couple things, like you can copy a link to this page and send it to somebody, within your agency, or maybe you have like a board of supervisors or somebody or something that wants regular access or regular updates on the data. You could just send them this link, and the data will live populate from the data that you enter in the gateway. You could download a picture of the map. This is nice for like presentations or if you're like presenting at a conference or whatever. But what I'm going to point you to is this little bit of code down here. You can copy it here, but this is a little bit of HTML code. So most of you all might be familiar with HTML as like a very basic tool. It's very commonly used for web design. So I'm going to just go here, actually. I'm going to drag this little piece of HTML here. So here is the HTML that is produced for this version of the map here. And I have the baseline version of it. So let's open this in a code editor so that you can actually see what the code looks like. So it's literally I just copied and pasted this little bit of HTML code into this file. You can also do this in Notepad. I use VS Code as my code editor, but if you're more familiar with Notepad, you could do this there. So it just like grabs a little bit of information about what map are you grabbing from. So you could do this for the other publicly available maps like the invasive map or the dengue map and use those URLs here, and like the width and height that you want it to display on your website. So if you right click on this and do open with and select a browser, so let's open this in Google Chrome, it'll show you what it will look like if you were to take that little bit of HTML and put it within your web framework. So again, we have the map now. So if you took that little piece of HTML and put it within your agency's website, this map would appear as it first loaded. Sorry. Something, this view might not be super helpful to your agency. Again, maybe you want specific pathogens filtered. Um, Maybe you want it to be in a longer time frame, things like that. When you make changes to the map, you'll actually notice that the URL appears changing. So the zoom changes, the latitude longitude changes when you move left, right, up, down. So you can actually use that as your default. So let's say I'm for this fake agency, I'm around Sacramento, I want my map to be something like this. Um, you'll see that there's additional options within the map. So you can like show the surveillance, which is like little blue dots that show where pools were tested for. So like, there was pools tested for here, but nothing came back positive. So that helps agencies know where, or users know where risk is. You can also show like agency boundaries. So, here's that Sacramento YOLO agency boundary that I showed earlier. Here's Yuba up here. And let's say, I only want to show my West Nile virus cases. Okay. So now you'll see all of that information is actually stored in this URL. This is the zoom level I want, the latitude, longitude. I want it to show the agency boundaries. I want you to hide all of these other data types. So you can copy that. We're going to go back to that little bit of HTML. I'm just going to replace this URL with that and hit save. And we're going to do the same thing as we did before. I'm going to open this in a browser. And now it should auto zoom to the values that we had selected. And I meant to do one additional thing here. Let's change the width and the height. Let's say you have a little bit more space on your screen for your particular website. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Save this again, open this in a browser. And now when your website loads, it'll have this nice big version shown like within the website. So it's a little bit wider, it's a little bit taller. It might be a little bit easier for your users to read. And then when they click on the maps, then the bar charts and things like that will upload. Yeah, so this is a really nice feature. If you have your own website and you want to integrate our VectorSurv maps into there, this is a great way to do that.